2x2 formation. Red change, down we go, racing for the first time this season. 3 hours of GT action, it's go.
It's very tight as they come down. Group of cars coming in, this has all got trouble written all over it. This is G3 cars.
Drop downhill there, head towards the Aqua Minerale. Imola, of course. There's another one off through the gravel. As wide as possible as they drop downhill, putting that truck inside line. Yes, oh, he did. Through he goes.
Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Well, hello and welcome to round 5 of the Apex Online Racing GT3 series. We are here at Zandvoort. I am Timasorus and I am joined today by Cardinal Smith, who's going to be joining us for the rest of the season as our second man in the commentary box. Say hello, Cardinal.
Hello, Cardinal. Hello, Timasorus. Good to be here. Thank you very much.
I knew you'd do that to me. I knew you'd say something along those lines of you'd say hello, Cardinal. It's just mean. Right, let's double check everything sounds good. So everyone in the chat, make sure you say hello to Cardinal. He covered Tier 1 last night and did an absolutely amazing job. So it's pretty much going to put me and Rage out the job, I'm pretty sure.
Absolute nonsense. And let's just say Timasorus and Rage both kept me from saving my blushes last night, so much appreciated.
Got to do what we've got to do, haven't we? I'm going to quickly come out and say it before we get too far into it. I know some of the liveries are missing. I have effort into these liveries. It's not Toaster's fault in the Discord, so don't go and attack him and say, why didn't my livery appear? It's all me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You couldn't ask for a better apology than that. Come on.
You know, I'm trying. I am genuinely sorry because I know a lot of the guys put into mega effort into their liveries, and some of them look nothing like they should. I know I've got a green and white Bentley that goes round, and it should be purple. So I do a little bit sorry about that. I don't know why.
If they really put the effort in, they would have also fixed it on your PC. So
yeah, they would have come to my house.
It's only natural.
Right, let's change the camera. Who is going to be our first man across the line? Is it going to be... Well, actually, no, because we jumped into qualifying a little bit late. I may have got slightly distracted with Dad Chat, as happens quite often here in Tier 2. Dad Chat does sometimes take control. So we've actually got Shabalanov on pole at the moment with a 134.8. But the whole grid is very, very close.
134.8, yeah, and as we say that, Grantas Caracas has just taken pole off him with the similar time. That's not particularly far off the Tier 1 times that we were seeing at this stage last night. We eventually ended up with a 33.9, but that was right at the death.
33.9, goodness gracious. So it'd be interesting to see if any of our Tier 2 lads can get in there. I know the pace is meant to be pretty similar.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's plenty of drivers in here who are quite feasibly at Tier 1 quality. Obviously, at AOR, they have to prove themselves for a season. Or passing. We've got a contact on the qualification. Shabalov. Shalabanov there and the Bentley. Both their laps ruined there, pulling into the pits.
Shalabanov in the McLaren or Bentley? Who was that? Okay. Yeah, sorry, I got all confused for a moment then. I was like, hang on, is he in the Bentley? He's not on a Bentley on your screen, is he? Good lord, that's not good. If car number 727...
727 is the McLaren, of course. The Bentley, not too sure who's driving that. That's who he had contact with.
Okie dokie. Thank God, I got very, very panicked for a moment then. Quick fun fact for you, Caracas will probably be very happy with getting pole, as he had an absolute stinker at the end of the last round that we had at Nürburgring. Obviously, the races ended up being slightly out of order due to server issues at some point. He was in, I think it was 4th or 5th, and he ran out of fuel after the last chicane at Nürburgring. Ended up down in 13th. So he will not be particularly pleased about that. So we'll be trying to make it back up. I say the top.
That is heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was bad because obviously we were clipping through everyone trying to watch the guys in the top 10 come across the line, and I clipped back to Caracas and was like, "Hang on, where is he? He's still right the way back there. What happened?" And then he just never got any quicker, and people just poured past him. I mean, he stayed out the way. You know, he wasn't trying to block anyone. He stayed right out the way, and then he's gone right off. So we were on board with him, but we're going to move away as we're giving him the commentator's curse, I think. He could feel in the ether that I was saying about last race, so let's not punish him too much.
Well, hopefully he didn't run out of fuel in qualifying. So
no, he looked like he just sort of ran out of steering at that point and went off into the grass. So whether or not he's reached his limit and thought, I think I'm done for now, gone back, get some fresh tyres. I said last week, he was in 5th, I believe, and he ended up coming. Yeah, it was down in 11th, I think. He may have finished, or no, it was 13th. He finished 13th last week. The top 5 last week was Shabalanov, Borgodowski, Matt York, who had an absolutely amazing race, to be fair. He was our driver of the week. So, not sure if you want to keep an eye on, or anyone you particularly got an eye on for this race?
yeah, you know what? I have a suspicion the Bentleys will be a little stronger this weekend than they have been in previous tracks.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, last time we had Nürburgring, so they've probably been decent there along with the Astons in the wet, but it just seems to be, you know, Ferraris and Bentleys more competitive than they usually are, because otherwise, normally we have a Porsche McLaren dominance at some of these earlier tracks like Misano and Kyalami.
Yeah, I think the mid-engine cars tend to do pretty well at places like Kyalami.
Yeah, so I guess we have Oleg Pichik and in the Bentley and Nicolas Nogueira, the Spaniards, 3rd and 7th in the championship. And quite a interested in Jonathan Watts in his Mercedes. I don't know how that's going to do here, but I see Bauer currently 8th in his Mercedes, so I'll be keeping an eye out.
Let's get Jonathan Watts up on the screen, shall we? Where is Jonathan Watts? Jonathan Watts. So currently in 25th on the grid. Jonathan Watts. I think, was it Watts? Yes, it was. Jonathan Watts. Obviously, it was a wet race at the beginning at Nürburgring. And he was hoping that the rain was going to come back, and I'm pretty sure he stayed out on wets when a lot of people went over to slicks, and ended up spending the entire race going round on tyres that were unbelievably hot. I think they were nearly at 50 degrees, absolutely red, overinflated. So fair play to him. He, you know, lots of races probably would have just quit out and given up at that point, but he didn't. He stayed with us, which was really good to see. That he didn't just back off. Oh, he's up to 17th now, actually. Just crossed the line, so he's updated times there.
Yeah, I expect that to keep improving. And we're not seeing the times tumble just yet. We still have Caracas and Shelbalov on those 34.8s. As Jonathan Watts goes off, maybe we shouldn't focus on anybody. It's having a bit of a curse for them tonight.
This is not good. We are dooming people from the beginning, aren't we? So, in terms of overall points in the championship, yeah, we've got Shabanov in 1st position at the moment, then Borgodowski 2nd, Pichik 3rd, Meerveld in 5th, and Cadil in... Oh, sorry, Meerveld 4th, Cadil 5th. Just having a little look. I mean, surprisingly, if you look actually at Pichik, he didn't race in the first round at Kyalami, but he's had a 1st and a 2nd. So, if you were to choose people's best results, Pichik is the man to watch, really. And like you said, I think
he's just taken the pole spot, the provisional pole.
As I said it. So, as it turns out, talking about Pichik does him good. This makes up for the fact that his livery isn't showing up correctly.
And I will say, it was Pichik that connected with Shalabanov earlier in the session.
Okay.
Both their qualifiers. So 2 championship prospects fighting each other out and trying to overtake each other during qualifying. Incredible.
Well, I mean, I guess if you're on an absolute flyer, you might not want to back off too soon, and you're sort of thinking to yourself, "Oh no, if I'm up on my lap time, I don't want to back off." But then Caracas or Shabanov is thinking the same thing. It can get a bit scrappy. It's a big old wide circuit though, so you'd think they should be able to avoid each other. Oh, actually, no, it isn't, is it? When you race this circuit, it's pretty tight. It always looks very wide on the helicam, but actually when you get down there on the tarmac, it's quite skinny. There's not a massive amount of overtaking spaces. So
one of the drivers, Rose from last night, was saying that when it's dry, there is one line of grip, and that if you stray off that line, there is nowhere to go. He said he cannot find anywhere to pass. So interesting to see if we'll actually have some overtakes tonight. Caracas on a fast lap. A 10th up, which will possibly be enough to give him pole. I think he's just stuck behind Pitchick, though. He has gone faster, though.
Oh no, he gets it. He gets it, but by 0.006 of a second. Good lord. But again, still in the 34s, the high 34s, so not quite seeing the same pace as we saw last night.
Certainly, just over a minute and a half left, and I start to see some green times down the field. I think Caracas is on another lap. Bogors, help me out here. Nikita down in 7th is on a fast one.
Number 7. Borgodowski.
Car number 17. Borgodowski.
There's quite a few mouthfuls, so don't worry if you get them wrong. It's totally understandable, especially if you're in a hurry and you're trying to read things that are moving quickly. There are certain names that you will struggle with. Sometimes not the names that you'd imagine you'd struggle with, but you do. The amount of times I look at a name and I'm like, oh, I don't know how to pronounce that, and then I realise, oh, it's Steve. It's not a difficult name, but sometimes they can catch you out, especially in the heat of battle. So there's no shaming here for it. Anyone in the chat? A little bit quiet, I think, this evening. I'm slightly worried that we're not actually live or something. No one's said anything quite yet, so feel free to tell us that we're doing a terrible job. I mean, I'll happily take the abuse. Try and get the chat. Cardinal Smith, terrible job. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Oh, yes, we had radio silence there as I just waited for yourself, Tim, to see the chat.
Yeah, that's all right. Sorry, I was quickly double checking the Discord just to make sure there wasn't some issue that I hadn't noticed. Well, I think this is going to be everyone's last chance to put in a lap, really, as the qualifying time is coming down to the final few seconds. Oh, Pitchick!
Borgodowski into 4th. Pitchick taking provisional pole.
So
34.5s. We're on fast times now.
There we go. There are people here. Hello, Mike X Papa. You make me all scared when I can't see anything in the chat. I get slightly worried and think, oh, good lord, it's all gone wrong.
One person I thought I'd see higher up, based on the practice positions, was Alexander Irish. I think they're only 22nd right now, and their lap is an improvement for this final lap. But Caracas on a faster lap in 2nd place. Is he going to take it by 6/1000ths of a second again?
I'm on board with him. So we're watching him come around that final turn. This is his last chance to take it. If he does, it will be an absolute gargantuan effort. He does. He does take it. Only just. Oh, and Matt Whitburn up into 3rd place. Where did that come from? I think, and Muscat as well. Those two guys came in right near the end, I think. I didn't see those times up there before. Maybe I was just too busy staring at other bits and pieces. But good lord, that seemed like an absolutely gargantuan effort right near the end. Pulling
it out of the bag just when they needed to. Matt Whitburn, 3rd, and where is Matt in the championship? 15th. What a result this could be for Matt. DNF the last race and finished 6th the previous 2 races.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising. Some of the guys, like I said, that are really up at the top of the... how are we looking here? Sorry, I'm just having... Sorry, the chat's just suddenly gone absolutely mad. It's raining. It's a wet start. There we go. We wondered if we were going to see variable weather. It was. We were obviously... well, everyone in the Discord was let to know that it could be wet. But here we are. It is very wet. Oh.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And it's looking wet. Oh, for the next 10 minutes. Then it's cloudy. So in half an hour, it could dry up again. So going to be interesting to see what people do. Are we going to see some crazy things like last week? We saw some pretty out there ideas of how people are going to make it through, and some cars that we did not expect to see near the front of the grid. I say Astons, we don't always do brilliantly at Nürburgring, and we saw one of them on the podium. So pretty impressive to see. And yeah, the chat has gone absolutely bonkers. So where are we looking? Double slit here from Tier 9. Issues can't play tonight. I got pedal issues. I'm sorry to hear that. But at least you've got some entertainment from us guys. Even if it is awful entertainment, there is something. Floris, Vince is doing so bad. I'm presuming you're on about Meerveld. Meerveld in 14th. It's not bad. 14's all right. It's far better than I'd be able to do, even if I was racing against, well, terribly ranked AI. Who else have we got here? Dirk just saying hello. Floris, you've got faith in him. Okie dokie. What you could maybe do is update us on how to get involved with the league's AOR. I'm from South Africa and interested in joining. Right. If you go to the description at the bottom of this, you'll notice there is a link to our Discord. You can jump on there and all the information you need is there. Obviously, we are mid-season at the moment. I think there are a few mid-season slots, or you may have to join up as a reserve driver. You do have to do an evaluation race, but they run them all the time. And it's not a case of how fast you are. It's just to see what level your racing's at, whether you're sort of all over the place or whether you can sort of keep it clean. That's what a majority of it is. So don't be put off by having to do that kind of thing. You know, I mean, I haven't personally had to do it because I can't race because I'm always commentating for everybody. Cardinal, do you race at all with AOR?
I did. I was more of a Formula 1 racer. I've started this season on ACC, and I have cut my racing short to come commentate. so we are in the same boat.
That's fair enough. I say, yeah, I was doing a Monday league, but I can't do that anymore just because of real life constraints. But yeah, from what I understand, everybody that I know that has raced for Apex Online Racing, everyone says it's great. Doesn't matter whether you're tier 1 or tier 10, there is a place for you with Apex Online Racing. So I would highly suggest just get stuck in. That's the main thing, I think, with a lot of sim racing, is it can be very scary. You're sort of thinking, oh, am I good enough to really race, you know, with real people, you know, a bit sort of nervous. Just get out there and drive. And it's always the way forward. You know, maybe I'm wrong on that one, but that's the way I've kind of. So that's the way I've kind of always felt. Now, I discovered a really cool camera last week, and I wonder if I can get it to do it again. No, I can't. I got a weird camera last week where I got it to scroll all the way down through the grid, which looked wicked. And I have no idea what button I pressed to get it to do it. Nope, it's not that one, and it's not on board.
Well, you're giving us a nice tour.
I'm just having a bit of a look round, really. We're going to probably go over to Helicam for the beginning of the race, so then we can get a good idea of what's going on. Dirk, thanks, guys. Very much a noob here, but doing my best. Love the ATC community. But yeah, to be fair, I haven't found a bad community, but Apex Online Racing is a top-tier community. They do seem really sound, and everybody seems incredibly committed to making everyone feel welcome and getting everyone set up. Any issues, give them a shout and they'll be able to help. So let's run through the grid, and we've left it a little bit late again, as always, once again getting distracted by chat. So on pole is Caracas, followed by Pichik in second, Whitburn in third, Muscat in fourth, Shbalanov in fifth, Borgodowski in sixth, Rashanov in Nogieri in eighth, Kadil in ninth, and Witowski in 10th. Do you want to roll through the next 10 for me?
Sure thing. Floyer Barrier in his Merc in 11th. Jan Climbs the Czech in his Porsche in 12th. Vincenzo Sorice 13th. Vince van Merveld in 14th at his home Grand Prix. Pavel Jarabowski in 15th. Mark Bastida in 16th. The Bentley will be going well here and thinking that it's lucky stars, it's wet. Ignacy Bucek in 17th. A bit down on him. Andy Vandervelde in 18th. Jonathan Watts in the Mercedes down there in 19th. 20th we have Dor, and 21st Daniel Fernandez. Alexander Irish in 22nd alongside a fellow Mercedes in 23rd, Jay Fang. And rounding it out, James Cowley 25th, Matt York, and Ryan Renoir in 26th, Stuart McLeod in 27th. I thought I was running out, there's more. Steve Favera in 28th. Ugo Gianpetro down 29th in the penultimate position. And finally, Gregoire Michaud in the final spot of the race. Actually, no. I don't think Gregoire Michaud is in the pits. So Ugo is the final driver of the lineup in 29th. Wow, what a real mix of cars. I wonder how much or how prepared they are for the rain. Because we had the totally dry qualifying. I'm just looking at the chat. We've got some Merville fans in tonight, right? Let's see what he can do from 14th in that McLaren.
The Merville fans, they are here every week and they come out in force. It's got to be said, if you got extra points for fan clubs, Merville would be absolutely at the top. I mean, he's a good racer anyway, but he would be right up there. Right, final run to the line now. It's going to be stressful. It's wet. It's a hairpin on turn 1. It's an absolutely chock-a-block grid. So hopefully everyone can get through. I'm going to keep an eye on the leaders. If you could keep an eye on the mid-pack for me, that would be fantastic. And we'll try and see what kind of... Oh, right, and they're off. Green light, and Pichik looks like he gets a fairly good run, but he's going to be on the outside for turn 1. Be interested to see if he can shut the door. Nope, gets on the brakes. A little bit of rubbing at the front there between Shabalanov and again a bit of a rub. Are they going to miss the curb on the inside here? Yes, just about. Caracas just starting to pull away ever so slightly, and he will want to make hay while the sun shines.
It's been an absolute clean start everywhere down the grid. There are cars 2 by 2, 3 aside, and
oh no, someone's gone off. Do apologise. Sorry to butt in with you quickly there. Who was that? That was the Ferrari of, I think it was.
Oh, there's another accident. Is that Merville being hit?
Oh, and there's a big old load of Fang involved in that one. Who have we got? Oh, and there's people crashing, rejoining the circuit. That was not good. Borgodowski. Yeah, that was a very dirty rejoin. That was not the best. Whether that was intentional or not, that will almost certainly end up being a penalty. Had to cut back to the leaders quickly, back on board with Caracas, who is already opening up a 2-second gap. So really is making hay while the sun shines, even though it is absolutely pouring with rain here. Bit of a shame about that first lap. Something, you know, sometimes you've got to be a bit more, especially in the wet, you've got to be a little bit more patient than that.
Absolutely. It's I'm just watching the replay. Borgodowski loses it all by himself in the fast corner, and is collected by Jonathan Watts in the Mercedes further down, and that causes a bit. And Jay Fang also getting caught up there. 2 Mercedes drivers. Borgodowski comes back onto the course and sends an Aston Martin into the barriers. And I think he would have clearly seen him there too. It looked, you know what? I don't want to say it looks intentional, but I suspect there'll be a penalty given out by the stewards.
I would imagine, even if it's not an intentional strike, I would presume it's still going to be deemed as an unsafe rejoin. I imagine he probably thought that was the entire grid that's gone past him, so he's just tried to go, and obviously the Aston Martin really checked up on the brakes, managed to avoid the incident, and then obviously it just sadly got caught up. So, bit of a shame there, but let's keep an eye on everybody else for the moment. Currently keeping an eye on Bruno Cadil in 8th place, and he is all over the back of... Oh, who is that? Hang on, I've got a car in front of him that I'm not sure is in sequence. Car number 766. Who is that? It's a... Very odd. I don't know which car that is.
I don't see a 7.
No, I'm crazy.
7,
Don't worry. It's just my awful eyesight. I thought that Cerise was actually a oh my god, a McLaren, but it's not. It's a Ferrari, isn't it? It's a Ferrari. Come on, brain.
One of them prancing cars.
Yeah, one of them ones. Having a quick dip back down, looking at 16th quickly, which is Irish in a very bright Mercedes. You were not going to be able to miss him out on circuit, are you? I don't think. Bright purple with green wheels.
Alexander Irish started 22nd, has obviously been a big benefactor of some of the chaos there that happened on that first lap.
Yeah, if you sort of look at the track map, he's not up with the lead pack, but there's just a few cars that are sort of by themselves. He is going after the back of Dor, who is our Tier 2 coordinator, so got to make sure you stay clean around Dor, because he's got the power.
Yeah, I wonder how that Audi is feeling right now. I know the Audi's tricky over curbs, and obviously Dor can drive it well, but I just wonder how it is in this tricky, technical, thin track in the rain. Also, I think there's going to be more. I think we can look forward to more overtaking tonight because the rain is here. There's going to be more, and we're early in the race. Everywhere's going to feel like the same right now, and as we can see, Alexander Irish trying to take a wide line and almost opening the door for Daniel Fernandez behind him in the McLaren.
Oh yeah, Fernandez has really closed up at the back of him, coming down into the chicane now. It's kind of an odd chicane, isn't it? It's kind of tight in and then wide on the way out.
Yeah, you spend a long time turning left in the chicane before you head down into the banking and slingshot it down into that start-finish straight.
Always a risky one here, isn't it? Because you want to take it as tight as possible, but try not to take too much inside curb, especially in the wet, because it could obviously really affect your overall speed, especially on this straight. The Mercedes not quite close enough to get into the slipstream there, I don't think.
Interesting line down the straight from Dor, and by the looks of it, having a little look, Alexander Irish.
Oh, I think Irish just backed out of it. I think that's a smart move there, because you do not want to go over the curbs in this section.
Nowhere to pass here, but he'll be looking for a good slingshot out of here again. Down this straight. Again, though, it's a wee... I call it a straight. There are 2 or 3 corners, but they're just flat out.
Yeah, so you've got to be a little bit risky. Actually, just notice it there. Irish dipped the wheel. If you get a little bit too tight on that final right-hander, there is a slight kink in the bottom of the road there, and if you're running a particularly stiff suspension setup, it can really unsettle the car. Oh, he's going to move up the inside under braking. Not quite able to. Dor gets on the brakes later than him. Oh no, and he spun! He just outdrove himself. He's managed to stay clean and out the way. Really well recovered, but he is losing positions now. Trying to work out where he's going to come back in. Probably 21st place, I would presume.
That's Jay Fang and the other Mercedes just challenging him there. Jay Fang in 21st, so you're spot on.
Oh, I think they're going to be side by side. He's managing to hold on to the outside. Yes! So he just manages to hold off Fang. But that'll probably be a bit unsettled. He might have some slightly overheated tyres as well, so... just having a quick check-in with the leaders. Caracas, all out on his own at the moment. Got a huge gap back to Pichik. I think... looking like Matt Whitburn and Muscat, which is the battle for 4th place. That is fairly close. So 0.4
Muscat,
of a second.
look at that. Not too far behind Shalabanov too. That is, oh, that is quite the tree in behind Matt Whitburn. I think all the way down to maybe 10th or so.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars.
And that's what we love to see. I wonder, are those Bentleys feeling confident out there? Are they just enjoying driving all over the track on their big heavy setups?
Oh, saying that, Muscat looks like he got a little bit unsettled in the braking zone then, and he's dropped back ever so slightly, and he might be in grasp of Rashanov now. I think he caught a little bit of grass just as he went to change direction. It just unsettled the back of the car slightly. We have noticed a couple of times that the Bentleys take a little bit longer to switch the tyres on. They're really good in qualifying, and they do, well, obviously because they get the tyres warmed up during quali, but in the actual race, we do find that, especially we really noticed it in Misano, that they were like, start of the race, they dropped back quite significantly and then brought it back over the space of the race. Like after sort of like 5 to 6 laps, they just seem to have more temp in the tyres, they seem to really be able to hunt. But I think
Interesting. So I wonder if we'll see Pitchick maybe when his tyres are fully warmed up, if it follows that same pattern, will we start to see a bit of a battle for the lead? And same for these high positions.
Quite possibly. I don't know if you've noticed, everybody is going offline on that main straight. So I think the guys that are running wets are probably starting to get a little bit on the hot side.
Van Merveld in 10th and Florian Bayer side by side going in.
Yep. Oh, that was a good move.
I didn't think you could pass there. That was brave.
I mean, fair play as well. I've got to say it to Merveld as well for giving him the space and not completely shutting the door. But amazing pass there by Bauer. That was absolutely amazing. And he's already getting away, isn't he? He's obviously very confident here and is just determined to pull away. We've got Climbs coming up behind him in the Porsche now. And we've seen Climbs has done really well over the last couple of races. I'm trying to think where he is in the championship. I've forgotten now. 6th place is Climbs.
He's a fast boy.
And Yaraboski he's down in 13th place. Now normally his car, I'm sure, shows up as blue with that design on it. So today it's white with the Italian flag colours on it. So
it shows as white for me too.
Oh, okay. So maybe it is white. Maybe I'm incorrect on that one. It might be someone else that's got that car. But who knows anymore? Who knows? I'm just having a quick look. Oh, hang on. Has that gap just come down? No, it was my timing screen having a bit of a wobble. 4.5 seconds the leader, Caracas, has pulled out over Pitchick. So that's a real sort of big effort.
Jay Fang, 21st. We got 3 aligned come into a corner here. Jay Fang, Alexander Irish, Matt York. Ugo Giampetro. Into the final bend. 3 abreast. Sorry to interrupt like that.
No, absolutely. Go for it. If you notice the battles, feel free to interrupt me because I will get distracted by other stuff. Renoir actually was our race 1 winner, and he dominated race 1 at Kailami, but he hasn't been able to replicate his luck. Since then, he had a real bad one at Misano. I think he even might have had a disconnect. Obviously, Matt York, we saw his best result last week at Nürburgring, getting up into 3rd place. Got really lucky with his pits as well. His setup obviously was just about right for a bit of wet and a bit of dry. So it'd be interesting to see how he does as well. But yeah, those 3 seem really evenly spaced. There doesn't seem to be much between them pace-wise, does there?
No, it seemed to be the final sector where they all seem to come together. But I remember a couple of laps ago, Jay Fang was fighting alongside Alexander Irish for 20th. So maybe he has had a mistake somewhere to fall further back to 23rd.
I've just noticed a couple of people starting to come into the pits now. I say, track is no longer damp, it's now greasy, and it's saying in 10 minutes time it's just going to be cloudy. So some people, Borgodowski, he is in the pit, presumably going over the wets. As far as I'm aware, he didn't have an incident. And also
Pitchick weaved to go in the pit lane and pulled out and carried on.
Okay, so maybe he's decided to try and go maybe one more. Although that might be also people who are staying very close to the pit wall, trying to find that cooler, wetter line. But it stopped raining. That's it. Rain is gone. We are now greasy, and for the next 30 minutes, it should just be cloudy. Nogueira into the pits as well, down in 20th place. So it'd be interesting to see when people decide they're coming in for this tyre change.
And we'll start to see, those drivers will start to see their tyre temps change. The tyres will get slightly hotter. They might seek out some puddles or damper lines around the track to keep cool. Or they might just take the gamble and pit in, get the hard tyres on, the dry tyres.
I'm pretty sure as soon as the track officially clicks over to greasy that there aren't any wet patches on the track. It's just overall, I think the whole circuit just is slightly greasy. I'm pretty sure. Obviously, the racing line is still grippier, but I'm sure there's no actual sort of moisture for them to find now. I mean, it's quite in-game. It's quite a sort of a hard switch from what I thought. I'm sure I read about it last week because obviously we were watching the weather at Nürburgring pretty intensely.
I wonder what our race leader is going to do this lap. Just come out the final corner. Will they opt to take the opportunity now? Staying out, Grantas Caracas staying out for another lap on the greasy track.
Risky.
I guess
very
they'd be
risky.
worried about it seems risky, but it looks like the second, third, fourth all following behind. And I maybe wonder, do they consider it too early?
Oh, there we go.
The tires.
Sorry, I've got to quickly say, Climbs and was it Bauer both just dived into the pits, and Busek all gone into the pits. There was a bit of a weave from Bauer. I wasn't sure if he was going in or not. Also, we've got Batista, Matt York. Oh my God, loads of people coming in. So, yes, think we're starting to see tyres get pretty hot.
Okay, interesting.
Sorry to interrupt you on that one. Didn't mean to. I just suddenly
No.
my timing screen came alive with the letter P. I was like, oh, good Lord, what's going on?
But I mean, from Grantas Caracas' point of view, he is extending the lead at 6.1 seconds now, and he'll be thinking, well, these conditions seem to be suiting me. The others behind me that I can see haven't pitted. Meanwhile, behind, we've got loads of cars pitting who are going to be really quick, and there could be some massive undercuts happening.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if I've noticed that the top end of the grid, obviously there's a lot of Bentleys and a lot of McLarens. They've all stayed out, and I was on board with Meerveld, keeping an eye on him, the fan favourite. And his pace doesn't seem to really have dropped off very much. I'm trying to see where he is now, Meerveld.
Take a look, but I'm just stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane for car 329.
Ah, it's Climbs. That is Climbs in the Porsche.
I thought Climbs would be one of those to benefit from the undercut. Our top three all staying out.
Oh, Miveld in, Cadil in, Cerise in. Right, let's choose some people that are actually out on the track still. But yeah, Caracas staying out. Really surprised at that. Maybe the McLaren can just seem to manage the tyres slightly better with the temperatures. I don't know. I mean,
interesting. Pitchik has Shelabanov right on his tail now, and there's a back marker in front of them that I presume, has come out from the pits.
Yeah, I think. Ooh, who is that? That is Bauer, I think, in front of Pitchik now. Yeah, car 22. Yes. Oh, and cold tyres clearly from Bauer, getting a little bit sideways there. But again,
it's going to be tricky to get those heat up in the tyres. But I don't think the Bentley is coping right now, not getting good exits out of the corners. Shabanov.
He's gaining. Shalabanov is definitely gaining. I mean, that gap's getting really close, and obviously the harder you're being pushed, the harder you're going to push your own tyres. So, be interested to see how long the Bentley can hold out. I mean, if I was Pitchik, I'd probably just, bail out now, get into the pit, get the fresh tyres on. Oh, and who was that? That's Bauer going well off on the final corner. I don't know whether that might have been intentional to give some space. Is Pitchik going in? Yes, Pitchik bails for the pit. Yep.
Pitchik bails and Shalabanov stays out.
Well, a lot of cars came flying in behind him. I think Bauer's back in. I thought Bauer had pitted, but he's in as well. There's an absolute freight train of them coming in. Pitchik, Whitburn, Muscat, Rashanov, all in the pits. Bauer again. So
I wonder if Bauer is out. They've stopped at a strange part of the pit, at the pit entrance.
Okay. Where is he? He was... Oh,
I think they've gone. I think we've lost Bauer from this race.
Oh, okie dokie. Yeah, I can't click on him. He's bailed out. I wonder if he has made a mistake with his setup, whether he's come into the pits. Maybe his pit strategy wasn't set up for going over to dry. He may have accidentally put wets on again, or he may have put his qualifying setup in, so he hasn't got the fuel, possibly. Wouldn't be the first time we've seen things like that.
No. So we had Pitchick, Whitburn, Muscat, and Rechinov all pit that lap, and as Kleins clears his stop and go, Pitchick comes out of the pit lane, still ahead of Whitburn, Muscat, and Rechinov, as you were.
So I am imagining... Oh, sorry, carry on.
No, please imagine.
I'm imagining it's going to take a few laps for Pitchick to get his tyres up. Whitburn... Was Whitburn... Yeah, Whitburn was in on that lap as well, wasn't he? So he's going to have cold tyres as well. So the one bonus Pitchick has is everyone behind him is on reasonably fresh tyres. So they're probably not up to temperature yet. But like we said, Bentleys do take a little while. Caracas, into the pits. Finally coming to the pits.
And Shilabanov the pit. I watched Caracas come into the pit entry, and they came in aggressively.
Ooh.
And it's still a greasy track. I hope we don't have a speeding stop-go.
Fernandez in as well. I think you've got a fair bit of a turn you can do before you before the pit lane speed. So I think you've got a little bit of time. There's a few turns to try and kill your speed off. But yeah, always risky coming in really fast into the pits. You want to take as little time as possible, but it can be a real sting in the tail. So on board with our provisional leader at the moment, which is Favre, who is the only person who hasn't pitted yet. But when the timing board corrects itself, he will appear as first place.
Steve Favre, what a fantastic effort. I wonder how those tyres are doing, though. They might be complaining just a little.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how the Aston will handle it. I mean, or did he start on dries? Did he just go for a dry setup the whole way through? I mean, I've seen madder things, but again, a bit risky. I'm trying to see. Obviously, Pitchick was up there at the reasonably high in the battles, wasn't he? Where is Pitchick on track now? Come on, cameras, catch up.
Steve Favre is 40th in the championship, highest finish of 25th in any race. I mean, why not go for an alternative strategy? Roll the dice here.
Exactly. At this point, just might as well go in a bit crazy. You know, even if you're not sort of right at the top of the tier of your drivers, that at least gives you the opportunity to, like you said, do something risky, do something a little bit different, try a different strategy to everyone else. Because, say, everyone else has come into the pits already now, so they've got to go the rest of the race, and it was pretty much 40 minutes they've got to go on the same tyres. So towards the end of these 40 minutes, Favre's in the pit now. There we go.
In the pit,
Favre's in the pit.
Has smacked off the wall on pit entry too.
Oh no, really? Oh dear. So it'd be interesting to see how long he ends up staying there.
That's a shame.
Yeah. I mean, like we said, got to roll the dice sometimes, haven't you?
Well, speaking of rolling the dice, what about Matt Whitburn jumping Shalabanov?
Yeah, obviously got his pit spot on. I mean, yeah, was that a pass in the pit or?
Shalabanov pitted a lap later, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so he obviously got it right. Obviously going that one more lap, tyres maybe just got a little bit too hot. Ended up losing that extra bit of pace that they had. So.
And just how important is that for the championship? Shalabanov is our championship leader.
And Whitburn.
So he dropped another picture.
Where is Whitburn? I'm trying to see.
Whitburn's
15th.
15th. Yeah, so obviously about 120 points behind. But this is good news for Pitchick in this case, who has another place between him and Shalabanov. And we have Bogorowski, who is way down in this race after that first lap incident.
Oh yeah, it was Bogorowski, wasn't it? It was him that had the lap 1 incident. Yeah, I couldn't remember which one of the Bentleys it was that had that issue, but it definitely was. Trying to have a little look around the field. Who have we got this close?
We've actually lost Bogarditsky from the race.
Ah, that's a shame. Okay, so something's happened at some point. Oh, Alexander Irish and Renoir absolutely all over each other. Renoir chasing after the back of him. Like we said, Renoir was our absolute dominant leader at Kailami. He pretty much got in front on, I think it was turn maybe 1 or 2. He didn't qualify that brilliantly, but managed to gain a lot of positions. I think an absolutely amazing braking move up the inside that no one saw coming, but he kept it clean. And then he just absolutely annihilated everyone. So come race 2, we were really expecting to see Renoir elbows out going for it again, but it just didn't go his way. So really good to see him having a good battle here with Irish. And the gap opens up.
Is it an aspect of the car as he comes out in the start-finish straight? He's the only driver in the Lamborghini that I can see in the tier, and you know, maybe Kyle Lamy, he absolutely was prepped for it, and the car was also hooked up. But I
have been told that I think the mid-engine stuff, especially I think it's the Lambo and the Audi, do go really well around Kailami. So it wouldn't be surprise me if it was a little bit of the car. Obviously, you have got the BOP, and the idea is to keep everything as equal as possible. But it does just happen. Alex Rushinov. Yo, my dad is in 7th place. He's in 6th place. He's up to 6th now, so you can give him even more of a cheer. Let's quickly get him on screen. There he is. Ventsy Rushinov.
Oh, you love to see it.
And he's chasing after the back of Muscat, isn't he, as well? So that gap looks like it's moved. Oh, a bit too much curve there. Nearly lost it coming into the chicane. Oh, sorry if we give him the commentator's curse. We mean no one harm, but it can sometimes happen.
But it looks like it's going well. You know, Cadil behind 3.3, way off. And yeah, Muscat and Rashinov just by themselves on this battle for 5th place. Is that significant for their positions? We have just taking a look at the standings right now. I don't see either of them in the top 10. So this is going to be a great points haul for both drivers. They can hold the Muscat in 16th.
Yeah, Rashinov is... I should know this. He's down in 32nd place.
Yeah, a 17th has been the best result so far. So these two guys will want these points.
We've seen some really good efforts from both those drivers. I think Muscat, his best was a 2nd, but he's had a DNF. So you know, he is a very good driver. Well, 21st, 3rd, DNF, and then the 21st. So we've seen him do some pretty impressive stuff out on the circuit. I think he's had some bad luck in some places.
Yeah, and just as you say that, Muscat runs a little wide, and Rechinov has a chance to gain a little. But these Bentleys are going well at this circuit. As we come up to almost approaching the halfway distance of this race, tire wear is probably going to be not an issue right now, obviously, but come later in the race, I guess who's going to have handled and managed their tires well throughout this? What cars are gentler on the tires? Because they'll all have been out a little longer on these slick tires than they maybe expected to be.
Yeah, you think normally you try and sort of go for a pit around the sort of the midpoint in the race, so you've got sort of reasonably, you know, sort of fresh tires the whole way through. But yeah, like these guys are going to be pushing these tires up to another extra 15 minutes longer than normal. So some of these guys were in around the 45-minute, you know, sort of mark. So there's a lot left of this track, and it's a lot of corners. It's just corner after corner, long, high speed, wearing on the tires. I'm trying to think. I'm sure it's front left that is usually the hard one to get temperature into here. Or is it front left or front right? One of them. I know there's one tyre that's quite difficult to get temperature in. But yeah, still, if you're going this hard for so long, and the track's green as well now, so there's got even more grip, so should see times start coming down. Actually, looking at it, most people's last laps were their best laps. In fact, looking at it...
Absolutely.
Yeah, actually,
you're completely right. Caracas alone is 5/10 up this lap alone on his previous fastest. The track is coming to these drivers right now. Changing conditions.
Quick jump back on board with fan favourite Mirveld. Jarabowski is closing up on him a little bit. I mean, these two have been squabbling back and forth a fair amount, but 0.3 between them at the moment, so not a lot. It's only going to take a tiny slip up from Mirveld, and Jarabowski's going to be able to jump up the inside. But both of these drivers doing a really good job.
Credit to Vince van Merveld. He's 4/10 up faster in this lap alone than his previous best. His only problem is Vincenzo Cerrice ahead of him is also 4/10 faster than his best lap. Yeah, lots of pressure from Pavel Jarabowski behind. Oh, Jarabowski has to back out from a move there. Dive deep on the brakes, and I think just swerved to avoid the back of fan favourite Van Merveld.
Yeah, saw him push that a little bit further out wider. I think he realised the gap wasn't there. Mirveld covered it absolutely perfectly without compromising too much overall speed. But yeah, there was a bit of a tense moment. Just noticed, Irish is in the pits, so not sure what's happened there, whether he's had an incident at some point. Back in 22nd place at the moment. Just
I can certainly take a look, yeah.
Having a little bit look further back. I think we've lost a fair few people back. Irish still out there. Currently running in 24th on my timing screen. But I'm not sure that's right. Yeah, I think we've lost quite a few racers over the space of this. Because I can't click on any of them. So presumably that usually means they've left the server. So a bit of a shame to see we've lost so many. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... I think 6 racers have somehow ended up not on the circuit, so a bit of a shame to see.
Indeed. A little moment, please, if you will, for Jan Kleins. Still racing, still competing, down in 24th, may have just moved to 23rd.
Yeah.
10 seconds down off Jonathan Watts, who is in turn 72 seconds down on Alexander Irish.
Oh, that's a real shame. But fair play, staying out there. You know, a finish is a finish, isn't it? Every bit of practice is best. Just a quick one. Caracas. It's coming up, ranging between 11 seconds. Out in front, it showed up a moment ago. It's now back down to about 8 or 9 seconds. But that is absolutely monstrous.
Half a second a lap quicker alone in that last lap than second place.
I mean, what can you do to compete with stuff like that? But again, is he pushing too hard, too early? Are we going to see some issues a bit later in the race where maybe he's overworked his tyres and he runs out of pace? You know, it wouldn't be the first time we've seen an upset like this. Quick one, Whitburn and Shabalanov, they are still very close together. This is McLaren versus McLaren, the battle for fourth. Again, everyone's really respectful here in Tier 2. It's got to be said, you know, like no one's doing anything silly that could possibly take anybody out.
I think this is the target. This is, as you mentioned, people will be thinking about their tyres. There's less than half the race to go, 29 minutes. They'll have done 3/4 of the race on these dry tyres. These people, these pairs that are in, you know, 2-person fights, Shabanov and Whitburn, further behind Muscat and Rechinov, and then further behind you had Merveld, Jarbowski. They're going to... Do they go for the move? Do they try and pass now and push to use the tyres now and just block the road later down the line? Or do they save the tyres, keep everything steady, and hope that the car in front makes a mistake or is pushing too hard themselves? What we saw last night is there was a real lull with about 15 minutes to go. Everyone was keeping it safe, and then the last 5 minutes we had chaos. Everyone wanted to dive and make those moves. Anyone who saved tyres was using them. It all happened. We can see the same tonight.
Ooh, sorry, quick one. Just I was on board with Fernandez and Nageri. Nageri down in 13th, making a bit of a mistake, going a little bit too wide and nearly lost it. He got a wheel on the grass, and that gap's opened back up. So Fernandez down in 12th place. He's got a bit of a breather for a couple of laps. But yeah, it's quite common. You see it right near the end of the race. People have been sat behind someone and they've been sort of umming and ahhing about making a move. Like, do I dive for it or not? And then they think, I'm fed up of looking at the back of this car. And they just go for something silly right at the end of a race, especially the guys that aren't particularly high up in the points overall. They've got less to lose if they don't get any points. Oh, Door trying to go up the inside of Fang. Good lord, that was quite a move. Not a lot of room to try and do it there. And it's cost him a little bit of overall speed. So sorry about that. Jump back to battle for 18th. So this is...
Looked like Door struggling to get the car stopped. Sorry, my voice just broke. I'm 13, thank God, at last. Really struggling to get that Audi stopped in time there against Jay Fang. Weird.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was a move up the inside or whether it was a sort of a braking issue. I know the Audi can be a little bit sluggish out the corners. It's got the traction control on it is quite aggressive. You really, as soon as you trigger the traction control, you've really got to like back off the throttle, otherwise it really bogs down. But they're pretty close. It'll be interesting to see what's happening. It does look like he's in the tow down towards turn 1.
Under braking. Wow.
Yeah, I think I'm going to come out and say it that the Mercedes is much better at stopping than the Audi, as he just manages to get on the brakes and saying, Door really getting close, but wow, really under pressure there coming out into this into the S's.
Or it's going to be looking for any particular piece of gap that Jay Fang leaves him. Jay Fang will want to keep that door closed. That Mercedes big, fat and wide.
Yeah, Door had a little look to the inside there, but Fang covering it off expertly.
As I said, these corners, a lot of them very fast, but very technical. Difficult to pass on, but Door just closing every single braking zone.
And brilliant bit of defensive driving we're seeing here. It's got to be said. I mean, obviously it's always amazing to watch just outright speed, but real technical defensive driving is beautiful to watch. Not being over the top, not swerving and just blocking like ridiculously, but just covering your bases, making sure you get your braking points right. Hold in the middle of the track so there's not an obvious gap to the inside or outside. It is really well done. It's beautiful to watch. Both of them get a little bit wide there.
I think Door has a good run out of this last corner, out of the banking, down the start-finish straight. You've seen the drivers take this line down the start-finish straight. Door closing and is good under brakes. Jay Fang with that defensive line.
He's going to try and go around the outside. Oh, yeah, I think that's why Fang held that line against the pit wall the whole way down. He didn't want to leave the door open for a second. I think he knew as soon as he opened it, there was going to be a move from Door on turn 1, but he's played his card now. He's shown that he could possibly go around the outside. So Fang has now got to think if he's defending to the inside or the outside when it comes to that turn 1. It's stressful.
Was Door just going to throw it and just keep it going down that outside? I wonder if he considered it and thought about it. He was very sensible and backed out.
Again, under braking. There we go. He gets that little bit of a run. It's an odd turn here where... There he goes. Goes up the inside under braking. Brilliant move. Keeps it clean. Fang gives him the space. But they're still side by side and the road's going back to Fang. Unless Door tries to go around the outside.
Fang with the outside. Fang with the inside corner. Coming back at them. But Door has the inside line for the upcoming chicane.
Yeah. Can he get it done? He's going to be slow on the entrance. Yes, he can. But can Fang get a switch back? Not entirely sure. He takes a slightly wider line in, hoping to go tighter out. I think Door's got it.
Fantastic move.
That was really well calculated. Got to be said. I mean, he just, like we said, kept it clean. Didn't do anything rash. But we'll keep an eye on him and make sure he actually makes it through this lap.
You could say he really closed the door around that chicane.
Goodness gracious. I'm the dad here. Not quite yet. You can't make dad jokes like that. Not until your little one's here. All right. That was full-blown dad joke. Good lord.
Well, how about another on-track fight to help you out?
Go on then.
All right, Matt Whitburn, Shelabanov, all over each other.
You read
2 tenths between them.
You read my mind. Clicked on him as you were saying it. Oh, big spit of flames from Whitburn's car there. I do like the way that every once in a while you do get some really nice cinematic moments where you do get like a big spit of flames out the back of one of the cars. It is nice that even though we're obviously here and all these cars are on screen all at once, it is nice to see that the details are still there. But yeah, Whitburn, well, 0.5 the gap between them according to my timing screen, but not a lot. I think just through that final corner, Shabalanov just dropped back ever so slightly, but under braking, yeah, pretty even.
Shabalanov will want that final podium spot for his own championship after winning last race out at Nürburgring, which was also in changeable conditions, so maybe really comfortable in those kind of tricky scenarios.
Coincidentally, actually, it's been very similar conditions last race at Nürburgring that has been here, because it was wet for the first 15 minutes in Tier 2 and then it dried up, and the same's happened again. The track is now fast as well, so... Oh, Shabalanov gets a much better drive out the corner, tries to get the inside under braking. There's a bit of an overlap and a rub. Bit of a rub, but nothing too much. Shabalanov tries to go around the outside. This is door versus Fang all over again. But Shabalanov does not get the outside line to work. He loses a bit of traction.
Wow.
He's flashing the lights.
Flashing the lights. He's not happy. He feels the door was absolutely slammed shut on him there, which it was, but Whitburn was maybe in his right to do that.
I mean, when the collision happened, they were completely side by side. So, I mean, Shabalanov didn't really have anywhere to go. Obviously, Whitburn...
Oh, further back. Yes, further back. Yeah, there was a... Whitburn maybe could have left a little more room, for sure. Given that they touched and Shabalanov was on the inside curb.
Shabalanov, God, I can't even speak. Shabalanov could not go any tighter there. Whitburn didn't give him much room. Shabalanov is still giving him a flash of the lights. He's saying, come on, move out the way. I know he reckons he's quicker, so be interesting to see if he does get the move done, how far and how quickly he can pull away.
Well, let's look at the lap times, because Pitcheck's fastest is a 1:36.0. Shelobalanov's is a 35.9. The other McLaren up ahead of Caracas, way out in front, 35.6. Shelobanov probably feels, I can go much faster. There's 20 minutes left. I can break down this 4 seconds to Pitcheck and grab second place and take points off him for the championship. Whitburn, however, doesn't look like he is having any of it.
Nope, staying defensive, isn't he? So, be interesting to see what happens at the end of this. I just want to double check where Whitburn is in the championship. I've forgotten now. I can't remember.
I think it's around 15th. He needs the points.
Look at the big brain on Cardinal Smith. It is bang on 15th. Good Lord. Immediately remembered it. Crikey.
Oh, it's essential.
It's a good job you're good with numbers, because I'm just not. I can do the blabbermouth bit, but the numbers bit I struggle with.
Thank goodness you do the talking. Let's see. There's quite a gap distancing up between everyone else further back. Dorr has pulled away from Jay Fang. A good 2.6 second gap now. Just lapping Jan Climbs.
I think the next battle that might come along is going to be maybe Ryan Renoir versus Chimpanchero, as Renoir is definitely catching up to the back of him. In fact, actually going to stay on board with him into turn one. I think we might be able to see a bit of a move up the inside from Renoir. Yes, we are. Goes to the inside. Oh, the door gets... It was a little bit risky, but it's got to be said, Chimpanchero left the door wide open and then went to cut back in, and Renoir was already there. So there was a little bit of a rub, which then obviously gave him a little bit of a hesitation. He ended up going wide. But I don't think it was a push to pass. I think it was just maybe just unaware that Renoir was going to come in with such a move. I mean, it was clean, but yeah, it was a little bit on the risky side.
It was late, but that Lamborghini on the straight line, you know, maybe the Porsche just didn't expect it to be that close and diving in from that far back.
I originally was not expecting it to be such a quick battle. I thought, oh, maybe midway through the lap they'll really close up, and suddenly he was just on the back of that car. So
Ryan Renoir up to top 15 now and making a little push. He has time to catch the Bentley ahead of Bastida. If he has the pace, he's doing a 0.2 a lap quicker, so has the opportunity.
Just jump back on with Whitburn and Shabalanov. These two still close. Shabalanov still looking very racy though. Keeps putting his nose in places. He's trying to find a gap to get past. I'm not sure he's going to be able to this lap. Maybe. You just never know. I mean, like, just didn't expect the move we saw a couple of laps ago where he obviously tried to go up the inside. Obviously, Whitburn gave him a bit of a squeeze. Got to say, are these two gaining on Pichik? I'm having a bit of a look at the times. They are...
Pichik last lap did a 1:37, which is one of the slowest in the top 15.
So gaps. And yeah, so they're out to Caracas. That gap's up to, well, just over 11.5 seconds now. So that gap is increasing. But I wonder if some of it is Pichik's pace decreasing. Is he slowly, like we said, maybe the tyres are starting to go off. How has the car handled it? I mean, the other Bentleys out there, we've got Muscat and Rashinov.
Pichik this lap alone is half a second down on his fastest. No, 0.6 down his fastest. That lap time is much slower than Whitburn's and Shalabanov's. There's time in this race for podium positions to be sorted out.
That might be the opportunity that Shalabanov needs. So if we see Whitburn catch up with the back of Pichik, Pichik's going to have to go defensive. That's going to slow them all down. And while those two are battling, then there might be the opportunity for Pichik to sort of do a bit of a 1-2 pass. And then he'll get himself straight from 4th to 2nd. It's not the first time we've seen it here in Tier 2. So I was watching Rashinov go through Turn 2 at the same time as trying to say Tier 2. And my brain, it just couldn't keep the synapses in the right place. But
do you know what? Have you tried to pronounce the track corners yet?
No.
Yep.
No.
And you're just right. I looked them up, and I don't think we should. Turn 1's Tarzan, and that's about the best we can do.
I tend to just do Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3, and maybe if there's obvious S's, or I'll just refer to something as a flying right-hander or the chicane. You know, it's easier that way, because sometimes I haven't got time in the week to learn all the names, and I don't want to offend anyone by saying them horrifically wrong. I tried at Kailami, and I think I sort of said the crocodiles, and then that was about it. I gave up after a little while. I was like, nope, no, I'm just going to make a mess. Let's have a quick look at the time. So just under 15 minutes left of the race. Yeah, I think they're catching Pichik. I'm sure they are, looking at the times.
They absolutely are. 2.4 seconds in it.
Yeah, there's not a lot there now. Who have we got here? Let's jump on. You know we haven't watched a lot of is Cadil. Let's have a quick jump on board with Cadil, who's got Cerise, and Meerveld and Yarabowski all chasing after him for 7th. So this is the guys rounding out the top 10. In fact, actually looking at it, it's quite a few people back. What have we got there? Yeah, Busek's 11th. Who is that running on track behind them? I think that's Watts. Is that car number 77? Wait for the car to come past the camera. Hopefully it is. I'm not going to. I think that's car 77 of Watts. So technically a back marker, but staying out there and putting in those laps.
A fair play to Jonathan Watts, yeah, down in 20 seconds, but just staying on the back of Butchek in 11th.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I just double checked. I just went back down. Oh, Climb's in the pits. Is he actually in the pits, or is he gone? No, he's in the pits. He's driving in. So whether or not he is just retiring and he's going to sit there to the end, I'm not sure. He's driving very slowly. He's coasted in, so not sure what happened there.
With respect to Jan Clines, he has raced the whole race at the back following an incident. And, you know, 30 bits to go. I wouldn't be surprised if he is retiring that lovely looking red and white Porsche.
I'm glad you're seeing it as red and white, and it's not just me. I'm glad it's not just me on that one.
No, it's a good one. That's a good one, for sure. We touched on the first corner, Tarzan. I think it's the only one I can pronounce. Do you want to know why it's called Tarzan? It's a very brief explanation. Let me tell you. Actually, let me get it. Yeah, when the site was created as a full track in 1948, the circuit had at this end of the corner, start-finish straight, kitchen gardens, which were owned by a chap called Tarzan, and he was nicknamed so because he was a, in quotes, very large person. I don't know why. I don't imagine Tarzan is a particularly large person, but either way, he was a big chap.
I mean,
he didn't want to give up his garden, but they promised that if they gave him the garden so they could have their turn 1, they would name it after him, and he cooperated.
I mean, fair play. I mean, that's pretty cool. I wonder when they say a large chap, whether they mean he was quite sort of large and rotund, or if he was very tall. As a quick one, just got to nip back to, this is battle for 10th place. That 10th place, couldn't get the words out there. Yarabowski and Busek, so Ferrari versus Ferrari.
There was that door.
Yeah, there was a bit of a mistake a minute ago from Yarabowski, which left the door open and allowed Busek to get right up onto the back of him. As I say, we see Meerveld has been pushing forward towards the back of Cerise and Cadil. So all these cars are still really battling it out, and they've been going at it for most of the race for the best part of 50 minutes. These guys have been absolutely hammer and tongs. Just having a little look to see what the times are like near the front.
And up ahead of them, Van Merveld, Cerise, and Cadil, all just ahead. This is one big battle for 7th.
Yeah, and it really could go any way, couldn't it? I mean, they're all pretty close.
3 Ferraris and 2 McLarens, and a Bentley of Nagura just hanging onto the back there just for good luck. Oh no, sorry, that's Jonathan Watts' Mercedes. He's a lap down, but hanging on, certainly up there for pace.
Like I said, fair play though. Even if he is a lap down, he is sticking with them, and he's showing he's got the pace. That's the main thing. Sometimes, especially if you've had an incident early in a race, you need to get yourself back in and just refresh your brain. And I mean, you think he's in 22nd place now. He's, after everybody that's sort of either retired to the pits and bits and pieces, he's 10 places up off. He's not on the back of the grid. He's doing well. Even though he's a lap down, it isn't all lost. That's the bonus. Oh, Meerveld has a little look up the inside there. Not sure he's going to be able to make a move.
It's certainly all not lost. And I tell you what else. The times across the board are slowing. Cars are not... I think the tyres have gone past their peak now, and nobody is setting a faster time. So I say that, and Shelabanov goes a tenth quicker, but he's only just started the lap. So are we going to see a few more moves? And you know, Jonathan Watts, we're crediting him for the speed, but if he hangs in here, stays on the track, he could move up a couple of positions if there's a couple of collections and accidents up ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, when you're racing, you don't wish bad luck upon anyone, but if someone goes off and they retire, or they have to go to the pits and repair themselves, that's a free place gained, isn't it? That's a free position. So as much as you don't want people to actually crash, it benefits you at some point. Shabalanov, he's made the move on Whitburn. We've missed it. I'm not sure when it was, but he has made the move on Whitburn. He is up to 3rd place. So I couldn't tell you if that was 10 seconds ago, 30 seconds ago, 2 minutes ago.
It was literally 20 seconds ago. Whitburn went very wide round one of the corners.
Yeah. I've just watched the replay.
Touch as well.
I'm on the replay now. I tried it, I risked it, I pressed the button, and I just saw the final move. So yeah, he managed to get it done, didn't he? Ow, amazing. Amazing little move there. I'm waiting for the camera to catch back up. I'm really hoping it switches automatically. I don't even
Big
know.
shout out for the replay function. Thank goodness it worked, everyone. The stream's still live.
Yeah,
Whitburn, however, is right on the back of a Shabalov into the start-finish straight.
Oh, yeah, trying to go around the outside there, wasn't he? Not quite able to. My camera literally just switched back as they went through turn 1 there. That was a bit nerve-wracking. It took a long time.
Yep. I thought Whitburn was going to wipe Shalabanov out there, late on the brakes. And a little gap starts to form.
Yeah, it'll be now interesting to see if, just over 7.5 minutes left, can Shabanov take the fight to Pitchik? Can he do it? He seems to have broken far enough away from Whitburn to not have to defend too aggressively. Actually, that gap opened right up then. Goodness, what happened on that last couple of corners?
Well, I think Shalabalov realises now he's got 3 seconds ahead of him to his championship rival Pitchik, and there's 7 minutes to go. He needs to get on with this.
I would be... Nah, go for it.
No, I would be amazed too, just what you're about to say, but I think he can see Pitchik up ahead, and he can see that Pitchik's going to take less points out of him now, but the longer that fight continues, the longer it was keep helping Pitchik. And I don't think Pitchik's times are good. I can see Shalabanov is going quicker this lap, so is gaining.
So it'll be interesting to see what they get on this lap. So a 136.5 from Pitchik and a 136.5. But again, he was battling for position still, so this is going to be the real thing. With 6.5 minutes left, we're going to be able to see Shabanov's true pace, not being held back by anyone. He's not defending. He's already 0.1 up, although so is Whitburn. But Pitchik's 0.1 down. And someone that is losing their advantage is Caracas. Or is he? What was my timing screen doing? That looked a bit odd. 13 seconds. I'm sure we saw it higher than that earlier. I'm sure it was significantly more.
I think Caracas knows he needs to just bring this home and get it across the line. 5-6 minutes left. You know, a big gap like that, 13.5 seconds. I think this is nurse it to bed time for Grandes Caracas.
It's always stressful if you're in a position and you know it's a position you want, whether it's first place, 5th place, 15th, it doesn't matter. If you have battled your way and you've got yourself to a position where you're happy, the last sort of 5 minutes of a race can be absolute agony. You're just sort of there, heart in mouth kind of stuff, thinking, oh God, you know, especially you're there flat out, you're going towards the line, and you've only got 1 corner to go, and you're guaranteed that's when you're going to make the mistake. And he will have obviously the issues of running out of fuel last week. That time has come right down, hasn't it?
Don't bring that up.
Yeah, don't want to bring it up, but what happened is it was basically the leader managed to pass the line. And I think they literally had 1 or 2 seconds left. I think if they'd let off the throttle, it would have been the end of the race, but they pushed for that extra lap, and I just think it meant that Caracas had to go that little bit further, and he just obviously ran his fuel a little bit too tight.
Caracas is 34th in the championship. Obviously, heartbreak at the last race. Ended up 13th. This would be 100 points on the board, from 35 points to 135, which would take him from 34th to 13th as things stand right now. 3 more races to go, another 300 points.
It would be, you know,
He's doing well.
Is it possible? Quite possibly. Got to say, Whitburn is trying to bring the fight back to Shabalov. Not close enough that Shabalov is having to defend, but he is definitely bringing the fight back a little bit. They haven't, you know, he hasn't managed to shake him off completely.
No, he hasn't, and that gap to Pitchik is 2.2 seconds now. They can both see Pitchik. You know, they've taken about 8/10 out of Pitchik, but the time is ticking down. 3 minutes 43 seconds to go. May not be enough time unless the tires really start to drop off, and even then, to quote a certain walker, catching is one thing, passing is obviously quite another.
I've just noticed actually Shabalov is going defensive, isn't he? He is having to go defensive. And he's only 0.2 of a second quicker on that last lap than Pichek. So I don't think we're going to see it. Oh, yellow flag came up then. Who was that? Somewhere else on the circuit had a quick pop of the yellow flag at the top, so I'm not sure who or what that was.
I'll keep an eye out. I don't see anyone dropping down right now. Oh, Daniel Fernandez and Sorice. We've had a touch. We've got an overtake. 12th and 13th. We've had a swap of positions.
Okie dokie. Yeah, just jumped on board with them now. Actually, yeah, Sorice, he was up battling with Meerveld and that lot, wasn't he?
I just gone to the replay, and Sorice must have had a problem coming out the last corner. He was swamped by Yarabowski and Noguera.
And he's made a mistake there as well. He went a little bit tight, hit the gravel on the inside, went out wide. So he's now, and he's getting a bit scrappy. Go on, Sorice, just calm down a little bit.
I wonder, has his tyres gone the side of that Noguera, or is that Fernandez's McLaren? Yeah, Fernandez. He's taken a couple of beatings from Sorice there in this lap alone.
Yeah, taking a couple of scrapes, hasn't he? Definitely. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what happens under brake in here. Is Sorice trying to go up the inside? He looks, but there's no gap there. Takes a lot of inside curb. Not the best place to try and take too much curb. There's a massive, great sausage curb on the inside there that really does beat the bottom of your car out. Especially Ferraris, not good at taking those curbs. I think
good for barbecues, not good for Ferraris. No,
definitely not. Trying to have a little look at... Yeah, Sorice lost a lot of ground, didn't he? I mean, if you look, he's only just joining the pit straight, and the previous guys he was battling with were already way past it. I'm just trying to see who... Cadil in 7th place has managed to pull ahead quite nicely. So Meerveld still holding off Busek and Yarabowski. And trying to... Let's have a look. Muscat having his own little race back in 5th, and Rashanov as well in 6th. Sort of very much just sort of having their own little races. Whitburn dropped off the back of Shabalov a little bit. Ooh, just under 40 seconds. So I think we're going to... Where is Caracas? Caracas on the pit straight. So this is probably going to be the final lap, I would presume. The timer is going to run out mid-lap. So Caracas still absolutely hammering. And Pichek just coming onto the pit straight now. Good God, what a difference that is. And I don't think Shabalanov's going to be able to make the move. I just don't think he's close enough. Unless there's a big mistake from Pichek, which can happen. You know, sort of heart and mouth stuff. Heart in mouth stuff last lap. So I think
you're right. Anything could happen. 1.7 seconds is a lot closer, and Pichek will no doubt see Shalabalov right behind him there. Whitburn, however, will have his own piece to say about this.
Yeah, he's not going to want... One, he's not going to want to lose the possible 3rd place, and he's not going to want Shabalov to get up into 2nd place. That's the last thing he wants, because it goes from just slightly outscoring him to significantly outscoring him if that happens. Just looking, that Bentley does look like it's 0.3 down on his best time, and Shabalov is 0.1 up. Oh, bit of a squirrel there.
Had a mistake.
Yeah.
Oh, and Whitburn's hit him with the back.
I think Whitburn tried to do a bit of an undercut, trying to dive up the inside, but nowhere to go. That door was well and truly closed.
I think we've been lucky to not see any cars go off track there. Both held it.
Trying to keep an eye on
we have
these
our
guys.
winner, Grantis Caracas, crossing the line, taking his first win of the season in our Tier 2 AOR League.
And that is some well-deserved redemption from last week. So he'll be very pleased with that. Pichek, brilliant effort as well. Thundering across the line in 2nd. Shabalov 3rd. Whitburn 4th. Let's jump back on with Muscat's coming across the line in a moment. Any thoughts on your driver of the day?
Honestly, Tim, Rachinov comes across the line for a fantastic 6th, his long best of the season. Previously 17th, I think, was his best. Terrific race. I don't know if we can look beyond Grantas Caracas.
That's a very good point.
Pole position, strong win, untouchable today at a tricky condition, changeable condition, Zandvoort. A good time at the beach for Grantas Caracas for me.
a good time at the beach indeed. I'd say, yeah, God, I'm trying to think who I would put as my. I mean, Shabanov and Whitburn did some. There were some brilliant battles that we watched, but I'm just trying to see, where did Renoir finish? Renoir ended up coming. Oh, he's down in 15th. I thought he'd come slightly higher up than that.
We've got a challenge. We've got a challenge to the line with Jay Fang and McLeod, side by side, and Jay Fang just takes it for 20th place. Sorry to interrupt.
No, absolutely fine. I was going through who had passed the line. I was keeping an eye on some other bits and pieces, and I'll be honest, I may have missed. Who was that? That's the in-game chat. Let's just quickly return to garage. Right, if anybody would like to join us in for an interview, feel free to jump into one of the ready for interview boxes in the Discord. We'd love to hear from you. Doesn't matter if you finished 1st, 2nd or 21st or wherever you finished, doesn't matter. Come and give us a little chat. Let us talk through how your race went. You know, aha, Pitchik, he's here. We'll grab Pitchik in just a moment. Just want to quickly shout out the top 10 guys then. So Caracas in pole, brilliant effort. Pitchik in 2nd, Shibanov 3rd, Whitburn 4th, Muscat 5th, Rachinov 6th, making his son proud, no doubt. Kadil in 7th, Mirveld up to 8th, Buchek in 9th, and Yaraboski rounding out the top 10. Really well done by everyone involved. Let's get Pitchik in for a little chat, and we can ask and see what was going on with his tyres. Let's drag him in now. Pitchik, can you hear us?
Yes, I do. I can.
Fantastic, we can hear you. Great race that.
I don't think it was a great race for me. It was a tough one, yes, but I have made a mistake with my setup. I chose wet setup for the whole race and just have no pace on dry track at all.
Well, I mean, obviously, we did see Caracas being quite a dominant force this time round. But, I mean, compared to everyone else, obviously, Shabanov, Whitburn, Muscat, Shabanov and Whitburn looked like they were just starting to reel you in the last sort of 10 minutes of that race. But the rest of it, even though you reckon you didn't have quite the right setup, you did seem pretty dominant. No sort of obvious signs of sort of the car struggling. So whatever issues you had with your setup, it did look like you were able to drive around them sort of reasonably well.
Oh, maybe, but it was a complete wet setup, and the traction was good, but on rear end. But I have no grip on the front end, so I have a massive understeer at every corner, and I think it looks like it was all okay, but. Shalabanov and Whitburn were fighting the whole race, and if they were not busy with this fight, I think they could catch me.
I mean, we did see, like I say, we did see towards the end of the race their squabbling sort of changed. They changed positions, and Shabanov did start to catch you at the end, but that's the way it goes with racing. Sometimes being in a battle, desperate to get past, doesn't always work. But it came out in your favour. So 2nd place, good points haul, and it keeps you, I believe, still very high up in the championship. So good points haul.
I think P2 now. 2nd position now.
Yeah, quite
That's
possibly.
right.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
I just want to cut in. Borgoditsky had a problem at the very start of the race and didn't finish this. So he scores no points today. So at the very least, 2nd place.
Yes, it's a good result for the championship, and I think that the gap between 1st place is closing today too. So we have a couple of races ahead, and I will do my best.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for putting on such a good show for us this evening. We're probably going to have to call it a day in a little while. Thank you ever so much for joining us in the commentary box. And doesn't look like anybody else is brave enough to come and have a chat. So thank you very much for joining us, Pichik.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for this great live commentary and stream.
Oh, absolute pleasure. No problem whatsoever. Right, we shall see you next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wow. Can I just say, Pichik said he was on an entirely full wet setup. He did the 5th fastest lap of the whole race.
That's pretty intense, isn't it? That is some seriously good going. So, I mean, I couldn't get near these times with a really nice dry setup. So,
Pichik is a fast chap.
yeah, they say all the guys here, they're not far off the back of the tier 1 drivers. Again, it's just there's 10 tiers. You've got to spread people out. So, I think we both agreed that driver of the day was Caracas. So massive round of applause for him, especially full redemption for the Nürburgring race. Obviously, I think that was his first race last time with us, and then obviously great points all this time. So might have joined the championship a little bit late, but he is not someone to let past. He is quite possibly going to be up in the top 10 pretty quickish. So be interesting to see what happens next time round. Thank you ever so much for joining us here. I'm going to say goodnight now. Cardinal, do you want to sign off?
Sure thing. Timasorus, thank you very much for having me. Everyone watching, I will catch you throughout the rest of the season alongside Timasorus. 3 more races to go. We got Suzuka coming up next. Really tricky track. Little plug, just for the Endurance Championship, the AOR is also running. We got 4 fantastic events coming up as well. Watch out for those. They'll be live streamed and commentated by ourselves here as well. So look forward to it. See you again.
See, this is why I need my co-commentator, because you came in and you knew about the endurance, and I forgot all